Hello everyone, I wanted to go through, at least for this video, the raid map roles, but this time around, really split into two different sections because it is very dense and there's a lot of information to go through, but we'll go through it in a way where we lessen the amount of confusion and you have an idea of what's expected of you if you are an officer in charge of really coordinating the raid, as well as a member going through, okay, what the heck do I need to do? And so there are going to be three different lanes for the map of the raid. And for those three different lanes, three summoners or three members of your battle group are going to traverse each one. So you have three members on the left, three members in the middle lane, and then three members on the right lane as well. So each of those three members are going to have a different role. One person will be a tactician, one person will be a vanguard, and the other will be an assault. How you synergize with these roles, I'll talk more about that in the next video, but just know you're going to take on one of these roles. And so there's going to be different tag champions with those roles as well, and each of them have a specific duty to uphold. So just to go through it, most assault champions focus on DOT or prowess. Most vanguard champions focus on utility like heal reversal, weakness, and debuffs, specifically non-damaging, as well as super tanky, as you see here, the literal tank. And then the tactician, they focus on the support as far as utility and burst damage like Doom, as well as power manipulation, and lastly, raw damage versus DOT damage. And so, each of those roles will synergize how you take on the mini bosses. And what you see on this screen now, don't get overwhelmed, it's going to be the raid map that you will traverse during raid week. And so, like I said earlier, there's going to be three different lanes. Lane 1, Lane 2, and Lane 3. So, as soon as you enter, suppose you're assigned like the left side, right? You're going to go to a corresponding path with your logo on it. So if you pick a champ that's a tactician, you go towards the tactician logo to pick up a buff. That way you can take on the mini, and then the next mini, and then the next, and then the next. Of course, there is a damage cap associated with it, but depending on the order you attack in with your battle group members, your attack is slowly increased little by little by little, and we have the free revives associated with this event as well. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, please reference and go through my last video. And so this is just what I stated earlier, each role supports one another, and so when I state the word role charges, all that means is you're increasing your attack. So each role supports one another once you start building up attack. That's all it is. As long as you're doing what the node requires you to do, you're going to build up attack, which is then transferred through to your alliance mates. Now, approaching the first mini boss, if I am, let's say I pick Hyperion. I know Hyperion is a tactician attacker, and so I would go to the left lane, and with that left lane, I would pick the corresponding buff as such. And so, since as you can tell, I love Hyperion, and I also love Hulkling. Hulkling would honestly be really good for this buff. You want to pick the buff that is best suited for your attacker. And so if I look here, whenever I punish a heavy attack or a special attack, I'll grant myself a 10% Fury, Armor Up, Precision, Cruelty, and essentially make Hulkling even greater. But not only that, each unique buff active grants me a burst of physical damage, max 90%. So, when it concerns reading these buffs, go to the second portion, okay? The first portion doesn't matter as of yet, all right? The first portion just shows you how to increase your attack over time. Second portion is literally what the node actually does. And so I just showed you the beginning of the map. Now let's look at the end of the map, what it looks like. Really don't pay attention to these bosses at all. Pay attention mainly to these treasures nodes you see, because after every mini boss on lane 1, 2, and 3, there's going to be a treasure node. So 3 mini bosses, 3 treasure nodes. And so with those treasure nodes, one person from each pod on the left, the center, and the right will grab one. So one person should grab a treasure node. There shouldn't be 2 people grabbing a treasure node at all. Hopefully that makes sense. Sharing is caring. It is not shared between all people in the battle group. One person per treasure node. No one likes someone that gobbles up all the treasure nodes in raid week, which means you have to coordinate. That way people don't kill each other over not getting a treasure node. And so that's how we'll end this video. Going into the specific champions in the pool and the strategy, it will be entailed or at least detailed for next video. And with that being said, that's how I'll conclude this portion, and I'll see you again for Raid Map Rolls Part 2.